stop right now. Because what if I told you there's one skill that separates the rich from the broke? And no, it's not working harder. It's not some secret hack. It's something way simpler. I taught this to 100 kids. And the ones who actually listen, they're millionaires now. Me, I went from dead broke at 24 to millionaire at 27. And today, I've helped thousands of people get rich. But here's the real secret. This one skill is the foundation of every successful person. And if you don't learn it, you'll stay stuck forever. Ready to change your life? Let's go. The moment you understand this, money stops being a problem forever. Let me break it down so simple a 12-year-old could get it. Business only happens when money changes hands. Not when you have a great idea, not when you register your company, not when you design your logo. The exact second a stranger decides to trust you with their hard-earned cash, that's when you're in business. Everything else is just make-believe. Most people stay poor because they think selling is slimy. They're wrong. Selling is just helping someone make a decision they already want to make. And when you crack these 3 psychological codes, you'll watch money start flowing toward you like gravity. First, you have to believe in what you're selling more than you believe in oxygen. I don't mean fake it till you make it. I mean deep in your bones, would bet your life on it, certainty. Because people can smell doubt like blood in the water. Here's how you know if you've got it. When you talk about your product, do your palms get sweaty? Does your voice go up at the end of sentences like you're asking permission? Or do you speak like you're telling them what time the sun rises tomorrow? That's the difference between maybe I'll buy and shut up and take my money. Second, your body is talking even when your mouth isn't moving. Most people screw this up without realizing it. They lean in too close like they're desperate. They fidget like they've got something to hide. Or worst of all, they can't even hold eye contact. Try this experiment. Next time you're in a store, watch what happens when a salesperson looks away the second you make eye contact. You instantly think this person doesn't even believe in what they're saying. Now imagine the opposite. Someone who looks you dead in the eye like they've got nothing to prove. Who would you trust with your money? Here's a trick that works like magic, the coffee cup technique. Picture 2 door-to-door salesmen. First guy's holding a clipboard death grip tight, leaning forward like he's about to fall over. Second guy's casually holding a coffee cup, standing relaxed like he's just having a conversation. Which one would you slam the door on? Which one would you at least hear out? That coffee cup isn't just a prop. It's broadcasting, I'm not desperate, without saying a word. Third, and this is where 99% of people choke, you have to actually ask for the sale. I've watched thousands of sales calls where everything goes perfect until the very end. The customer is ready. They're practically begging to buy. And then nothing. Silence. The salesperson gets scared and changes the subject because they're more afraid of hearing no than they are excited to hear yes. Let me tell you about my top sales guy. He's not some smooth talking genius. He's not better looking than anyone else, but he outsells everyone else on my team 3-1. Know why? Because while everyone else is nervously trying to read the room, he's making offers like it's his job, because it is. Here's the brutal truth. If you never ask, you'll never know. Most people reject themselves before the customer even gets a chance to. They imagine all the reasons someone might say no, so they never give them the chance to say yes. That's not being polite, that's being scared. Now let me show you how the masters do it. Ever notice how the best salespeople don't even seem like they're selling? They're just having a conversation. They ask questions, they listen, and then when the moment's right, they say something so simple it's genius. Would you like to move forward with this? Not pushy, not sleazy, just a natural next step. Because here's what nobody tells you. People want to be led. They're waiting for someone to confidently show them what to do next. When you hesitate, you create doubt. When you act like the outcome is already decided, they'll follow your lead. The real secret? Selling isn't something you do to people. It's something you do for people. When you truly believe you're helping someone solve a problem or improve their life, asking for the sale becomes the most ethical thing you can do. Not selling them? That's when you're being selfish, keeping your solution from someone who needs it. This is why the best salespeople sleep like babies at night. Not because they trick people into buying, but because they help people make decisions they were already considering. The money? That's just proof you delivered value. Now here's where most gurus stop. They'll tell you all this theory and send you on your way, but I'm going to give you the exact script the top 1% use without sounding salesy. When someone shows interest, you say, most people in your situation end up choosing / / because main benefit. Does that make sense for where you're at right now? Simple, powerful. And it works because you're not pushing, you're guiding. You're giving them a pattern to follow, most people, while making it about their specific situation. The final piece, handling objections before they even come up. Smart sellers know there are only about 5-6 reasons people don't buy, so they address them naturally in the conversation before the customer even thinks to ask. Now, some people worry about the common objection, but here's what we've found. See what's happening? You're not waiting for them to throw objections at you. You're proactively removing roadblocks from their mind. This isn't manipulation. It's anticipation. It's showing you understand their concerns before they even voice them. The craziest part, once you get this skill down, it works everywhere, not just in business, in job interviews, in relationships, in life. Because at its core, selling is just the art of persuasive communication. And whoever masters communication masters their destiny. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm not a natural salesperson. Good. Neither was I. Neither is anyone at first. The difference between those who get rich and those who stay broke isn't talent. It's reps. Every no gets you closer to a yes. Every awkward pitch makes the next one smoother. I'll leave you with this. There are 2 kinds of people in this world. Those who wait for permission to get paid and those who decide what they're worth and go collect it. Which one are you going to be? The most important sale you'll ever make isn't to a customer, a client, or a boss. It's to the person staring back at you in the mirror every morning. Before you can convince anyone else to believe in your product, your service, or your vision, you need to be completely sold on it yourself. This isn't about fake confidence or surface level enthusiasm. It's about a bone deep conviction that radiates from your pores, whether you're speaking or silent. The world's best marketers, entrepreneurs, and leaders understand this fundamental truth. People don't buy products, they buy beliefs. And if you don't believe, why should anyone else? Think about the last time someone tried to sell you something while clearly doubting it themselves. Maybe it was a telemarketer reading stiffly from a script, their voice dripping with desperation. Maybe it was a network marketer who couldn't look you in the eye while explaining their ground floor opportunity. Your subconscious picked up on dozens of tiny tells. The slight hesitation before answering questions, the way their energy deflated when you push back, the unnatural cadence of someone repeating words they haven't fully internalized. Now contrast that with someone who genuinely believes in what they're offering. They don't need rehearsed lines because their conviction flows naturally. They welcome objections because they've wrestled with every doubt themselves and arrived at certainty. Their body language stays open and relaxed because they're not afraid of being found out. They know the value they're providing is real. This is the difference between selling and authentic persuasion. Your ability to sell yourself first manifests in countless subtle ways. The way you hold yourself when discussing prices, do you flinch or stand firm? The tone of your voice when describing results, does it lift with excitement or flatten with doubt? The speed at which you respond to objections, is it instant and natural or delayed and calculated? These micro signals create what psychologists call thin slice judgments, the instant gut level assessments people make about whether to trust you. And here's the uncomfortable truth. People can sense when you're trying to convince yourself at the same time you're trying to convince them. True belief comes from lived experience, not wishful thinking. Before I could authentically sell my first business coaching program, I had to use the exact strategies I was teaching to build my own success. Document every step of my own transformation. Test the methods with real clients and see their results. Confront every possible objection until I had unshakable answers. This process transformed me from someone who hoped my system worked to someone who knew it worked. That shift changed everything. My posture, my tone, my willingness to ask boldly for commitments. Prospects stopped saying, "Let me think about it," and started saying, "How do I get started?" Not because my pitch got smoother, but because my certainty became contagious. The most powerful personal transformation happens when you stop seeing selling as something you do to others and start seeing it as standing so firmly in your truth that others naturally want to join you there. This is why some speakers can fill stadiums while others struggle to fill a webinar. It's not about technique. It's about the depth of their personal conviction. Your mission isn't to manufacture belief where none exists, but to only offer what you've proven works through personal experience. Resolve every lingering doubt within yourself first. Develop such clarity about your value that hesitation becomes impossible. Align your entire being, words, energy, actions with that certainty. When you achieve this level of self-conviction, something magical happens. Rejection stops feeling personal because you know with absolute certainty that what you're offering is valuable, whether any particular person sees it or not. This is the foundation upon which all lasting success is built. Not clever marketing tricks, but unshakable personal knowing. The marketplace is flooded with people trying to sell things they don't fully believe in. Be different. Do the inner work first. Become a living example of what you offer and watch as the world naturally responds to the gravitational pull of your authentic conviction. This is where real influence begins. Not with perfecting your external pitch, but with resolving every internal conflict until what you present to the world is 100% congruent with what you know to be true. That's when you stop chasing clients and start attracting believers. That's when you stop selling and start serving. That's when you stop negotiating and start guiding. The most successful people in any field aren't the best liars, they're the truest believers. They've done the hard work of eliminating their own doubts so thoroughly that they can focus entirely on helping others overcome theirs. This is the ultimate competitive advantage in a world full of half-convinced salespeople and hesitant entrepreneurs. Your first sale is always to yourself. Make it count. Your body is speaking an entirely different language than your mouth, and your prospects, clients, and audience are fluent in reading it whether they realize it or not. Every twitch, every micro expression, every unconscious movement tells a story more honest than anything coming out of your mouth. While you're carefully crafting your verbal pitch, your physiology is broadcasting your true feelings on a frequency that bypasses logic and goes straight to the primitive brain. This is why someone can say all the right words, but still leave you feeling uneasy. Their body betrayed their lack of confidence before they ever opened their mouth. The most powerful communicators understand this fundamental truth. Your nonverbal communication accounts for nearly 93% of how your message is received. The actual words? A mere 7%. This means that no matter how brilliant your script, how compelling your offer, or how irresistible your pricing, if your body language doesn't match, you're leaving money on the table. Let's break down the silent signals that make or break deals. Eye contact. The difference between connection and creepiness comes down to duration and intensity. Too little eye contact reads as shifty or insecure. Too much becomes aggressive and uncomfortable. The sweet spot, holding eye contact for about 60-70% of the conversation, breaking naturally to the side when thinking. Watch any master negotiator. Their gaze is steady but not piercing. Engage but not demand posture. Your spine is your confidence barometer. Slumped shoulders telegraph defeat before you've even begun. Overly rigid posture comes across as tense and unnatural. The ideal? An open posture. Posture strengthened ball but relaxed, chest slightly forward, head level. This position literally expands your lung capacity, allowing for fuller, more authoritative vocal tones while projecting calm assurance. Gestures nervous hands kill credibility. Fidgeting, clasping, or stuffing hands in pockets all signal discomfort. Purposeful gestures, however, can dramatically enhance persuasion. Studies show speakers who use open palm gestures are perceived as 40% more trustworthy. The key is matching gesture size to emotional intensity. Small controlled movements for nuanced points, broader motions for big ideas. Proximity. The space you occupy and the distance you keep speaks volumes. Invading personal space closer than 3 feet in business contexts triggers defensive reactions. Standing too far away creates emotional distance. Mirroring your prospects' preferred proximity builds instant rapport without them realizing why they suddenly feel more comfortable with you. Facial expressions. Your face leaks emotions faster than your mouth can censor them. The split-second wince when quoting price, the barely perceptible eyebrow raise when hearing an objection. These micro expressions register at a subconscious level, creating either alignment or dissonance with your words. The solution isn't to become expressionless, but to cultivate genuine positivity that naturally reflects in your features. Breathing. The most overlooked yet powerful nonverbal cue. Shallow, rapid breathing triggers fight or flight responses in both you and your audience. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing not only Calms your nerves, but literally deepens your voice, making you sound more authoritative. Watch any high-stakes negotiator. Their sentences flow on exhales. Their pauses happen on inhales, creating a rhythm that commands attention. The fascinating part, your body language doesn't just communicate to others. It programs your own psychology. Adopting power poses for just 2 minutes increases testosterone by 20% and decreases cortisol, stress hormone, by 25%. This means standing like a winner actually makes you feel like a winner before you even start speaking. Now let's examine the body language traps that kill deals. The leaning tower. Over-eagerly leaning toward your prospect screams desperation. It violates their personal space and puts them on defense. The fig leaf. Clasping hands in front of your groin is the universal sign of nervousness and uncertainty. It literally closes you off from your audience. The pocket pool, hands stuffed in pockets project either casual indifference or hidden anxiety. Neither builds confidence in your message. The escape artist, feet pointed toward the exit or constantly shifting weight, telegraphs your desire to be anywhere but here. The turtle, head pulled down into raised shoulders, is the physical manifestation of self-doubt. It makes your voice constrict and weakens projection. Master communicators use body language as a strategic tool. They enter a room with measured, purposeful steps, not too slow, hesitant, not too fast, anxious. They shake hands with firm web-to-web contact lasting exactly as long as it takes to say their name, establishing equal footing. They sit at slight angles rather than head-on confrontational positions, reducing threat perception while maintaining engagement. They mirror prospects' posture and energy level, creating subconscious alignment and rapport. They pause before answering important questions, demonstrating thoughtful consideration rather than knee-jerk reactions. The most powerful part? Unlike verbal skills, which take time to develop, body language improvements create instant changes in how you're perceived. Straighten your posture right now and feel the immediate shift in presence. Lift your chin and notice how your breathing opens. Adjust your stance and experience the surge of confidence. This is the hidden leverage most people ignore while obsessing over perfect scripts. Your body is speaking constantly. The question is it helping or hurting your message? The difference between "I'll think about it" and "where do I sign?" often comes down to who appeared more certain of their own value. And certainty isn't just heard, it's seen in every fiber of your being. Your physiology is your most honest salesperson. Train it to tell the truth you want the world to believe. The single greatest difference between those who make millions and those who struggle paycheck to paycheck comes down to 3 terrifying words. Ask for the sale. Most people will do everything right. Craft the perfect pitch, deliver an irresistible offer, build undeniable value, then freeze at the exact moment when it's time to close. Their throat tightens, their palms sweat, their mind races with every possible reason not to ask. So they hedge, they soften, they say think about it instead of let's get started. And in that moment of hesitation, fortunes are lost. Isn't just sales theory, it's human psychology. When you fail to ask clearly for what you want, you trigger doubt in your prospect's mind. If you're not confident enough to ask for the business, why should they be confident enough to give it to you? The most successful people in any field understand this fundamental truth. The ask isn't pushy, it's helpful. It's not aggressive, it's expected, it's not optional. It's the entire point. Let's break down why even seasoned professionals choke at this critical moment, the rejection paradox. Our brains are wired to fear social rejection more than financial loss. That's why standing in front of a prospect feels more dangerous than losing the commission. But here's what most people miss. When you don't ask, you've already rejected yourself. You've chosen guaranteed failure over possible success. The top earners flip this script. They'd rather hear 100 no's than wonder about 100 maybes. The myth of they'll ask if interested, novices believe good products sell themselves, or that interested buyers will let you know. This is fantasy. In reality, people need permission to buy. They're waiting for you to guide them. Think about the last time you bought something significant. Didn't you wait for the salesperson to tell you what to do next? That's not you being passive. That's human nature. The preparation trap. Most salespeople prepare everything except the close. They rehearse their pitch, anticipate objections, perfect their presentation, then wing it when it's time to ask for the business. This would be like a basketball team practicing everything except shooting. The solution? Script and rehearse your closes as diligently as your openings. Now let's examine how the top 1% close deals without sounding salesy, the direct close. Based on everything we've discussed, this is clearly the right solution for you. Let's get the paperwork started and I'll have the team begin implementation. Notice there's no question mark. It's a natural next step stated with certainty. The choice close. Would you prefer to start with the premium package or the standard package? This bypasses yes/no by assuming the sale and focusing on details. The timeline close. We have availability to begin next Monday or the following Friday. Which works better for your schedule? Anchoring on timing rather than decision. The question close. What's stopping us from moving forward today, uncovering real objections instead of imagined ones? The sharp angle close. When a prospect asks, can you do X? You respond, if I can do X, are you ready to move forward? Turning questions into commitments. Consider this. Every minute you delay asking is another minute your prospect isn't benefiting from your solution. That delay costs them money, time, or opportunity. Who are you to withhold that value because you're uncomfortable? The numbers don't lie. Studies show that salespeople who ask for the order at least 3 times have a 90% higher close rate than those who ask once or not at all. Yet most give up after the first soft no or even before getting any response at all. Here's the hard truth. If you can't ask for money, you'll always be at the mercy of those who can. The marketplace rewards those bold enough to name their price and confident enough to stand by it. This applies whether you're selling products, services, ideas, or even yourself in an interview. The fear never completely disappears. Even seasoned professionals feel butterflies before big asks, but they've learned to interpret that adrenaline as excitement rather than fear. They understand that discomfort is the price of growth, and that every awkward ask makes the next one easier. Your breakthrough comes when you realize that rejection isn't personal, it's just data. Each no gets you closer to yes. Each objection teaches you how to better serve the next prospect. The only true failure isn't hearing no. It's never asking the question at all. Watching amateur salespeople dance around the close is painful. They'll give discounts before being asked, extend free trials indefinitely, add unnecessary features. Anything to avoid the simple act of asking. Meanwhile, professionals understand that clarity is kindness. When you're direct about what you want, you respect everyone's time and move decisions forward. The most successful people in any field share one trait. They ask for what they want unapologetically. They ask for the sale, they ask for the raise, they ask for the opportunity, not because they're entitled, but because they understand that the world responds to those bold enough to make their intentions clear. This is the dividing line between mediocrity and mastery, between hoping things will work out and making them happen, between waiting for permission and writing your own ticket. This simple, terrifying, life-changing act of asking. The ability to command a room with your words is the closest thing to a real-life superpower. It opens doors to opportunities, influences decisions, and builds empires out of ideas. Most people approach public speaking completely backwards. They focus on memorizing scripts, perfecting slides, and rehearsing gestures while missing the fundamental truth. Great communication isn't about performance, it's about connection. The difference between a forgettable talk and a transformational one comes down to understanding that people don't remember what you say, they remember how you made them feel. This is why 2 speakers can deliver the same content with wildly different results. One leaves the audience checking their watches, the other changes lives. Let's break down what separates amateur speakers from the pros. The myth of natural talent. Everyone assumes great speakers were born that way, but the truth is messier. Watch early recordings of now legendary speakers and you'll find awkward pauses, shaky hands, and cringeworthy delivery. The transformation came through relentless practice, not just repeating the same speech, but deliberately attacking weaknesses. One CEO I coached went from panic attacks before team meetings to commanding 1,000-person conferences by doing one thing, recording every presentation and ruthlessly analyzing his mistakes. The 3-second rule: novice speakers lose their audience in the first 3 seconds through weak openings like, Hello everyone. Or so today I'll be talking about pros know the first words out of your mouth set the emotional tone for everything that follows. Compare these openings for a talk on productivity. Amateur. Today I want to share some time management tips I've found helpful. What if I told you everything you know about productivity is wrong and it's costing you 12 years of your life? The storytelling edge, facts tell, stories sell. Our brains are wired to remember narratives 22 times more than standalone facts. When you say 37% of businesses fail in the first year, it's forgettable. When you tell the story of Sarah who quit her job to start a bakery, nearly went bankrupt in month 6, then turned it around by discovering one counterintuitive strategy, now you have attention. The best speakers don't present information. They take audiences on emotional journeys with heroes, obstacles, and transformation. The power of silence. Most speakers fear pauses like kryptonium, rushing to fill every second with noise. Professionals use strategic silence like a weapon, pausing after key points to let them sink in before important reveals to build anticipation. When the audience reacts to ride the energy. The legendary speaker who trained me had a brutal rule. For every minute of speaking, identify where a 3-second pause would have maximum impact. Vocal control. Your voice is an instrument most people never learn to play. Amateurs speak in monotone, racing through content like they're being timed. Pros vary. Pace, slow for important points, faster for stories, volume softer to draw people in, louder for emphasis, tone, warm for connection, sharp for urgency. Record yourself speaking normally, then again, while consciously applying these variations. The difference is shocking. Body language mastery. While most speakers obsess over hand gestures, the pros focus on 3 underrated elements. Feet, weight, evenly distributed. Slightly apart, narrow stances look nervous. Hips, facing directly at the audience. Angled bodies suggest you want to escape. Eye contact, holding individual gazes for 3-5 seconds. Scanning deeply to see insincere. The rule of 3. Our brains best retain information in triplets. Watch any TED Talk and you'll notice. There are 3 reasons this matters. I learned 3 lessons from this experience. You'll walk away with 3 actionable strategies. This isn't coincidence. It's cognitive science. Structure your content in 3s for maximum retention. Audience engagement, amateurs lecture, professionals converse, even with 1,000-person audiences. Simple techniques create this illusion. Rhetorical questions. How many of you have experienced this? Show of hands. Raise your hand if. Direct address. Now, John, you're a parent. You understand this pressure. Handling nerves, even seasoned pros get butterflies. They've just learned to redirect the energy. Instead of trying to calm down, they reframe adrenaline as excitement. Focus on serving the audience rather than judging themselves. Use physical warm-ups, power poses, vocal exercises, controlled breathing. Slide discipline. Death by PowerPoint happens when speakers treat slides as crutches rather than accents. The golden rule: never put anything on a slide that you'll say verbatim. Slides should visualize complex data before powerful images that evoke emotion, show stark contrasts before BS, after, contain minimal text, 6 words per bullet max. The improv mindset, rigid scripts, break under pressure. Professionals prepare thoroughly, but stay flexible enough to. Rhetorical questions. How many of you have experienced this? Show of hands. Raise your hand if. Direct address. Now, John, you're a parent. You understand this pressure. Handling nerves, even seasoned pros get butterflies. They've just learned to redirect the energy. Instead of trying to calm down, they reframe adrenaline as excitement. Focus on serving the audience rather than judging themselves. Use physical warm-ups, power poses, vocal exercises, controlled breathing. Slide discipline. Death by PowerPoint happens when speakers treat slides as crutches rather than accents. The golden rule: never put anything on a slide that you'll say verbatim. Slides should visualize complex data before powerful images that evoke emotion, show stark contrasts Before BS. After. Contain minimal text, 6 words per bullet max. The improv mindset, rigid scripts, break under pressure. Professionals prepare thoroughly, but stay flexible enough to abandon planned material if the audience isn't responding. Incorporate spontaneous moments, technical difficulties, unexpected questions. Adjust pacing based on real-time feedback. Q&A mastery. Most speakers dread Q&A because they lose control. Pros leverage it as the most powerful part by preparing for likely questions in advance, rephrasing questions to maintain framing. What I hear you asking is bridging back to key messages. That's an important question that brings us back to vocal fillers, and like, destroy credibility. The fix isn't eliminating them completely, even Obama used strategic pauses, but reducing frequency through slowing down overall pace, accepting brief silences, recording practice sessions to identify patterns, authenticity over perfection. Audiences forgive mistakes, but can't stand phoniness. The most powerful speakers, the stage vs camera shift virtual presentations require different skills. More frequent energy boosts, webcam fatigue is real. Strategic use of framing, upper body vs close-up. Enhanced vocal variety, microphones flatten nuance, microphone technique. Handheld mics should be held 6-8 inches from your mouth at a 45-degree angle. Lavalier mics need testing for placement. 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 Stack place, sharpen 60, 48, 24 vs 45 at noon and at night. U the lens and range. Stack the VS pod shaft. Always do an audio check and monitor for. The posture confidence loop. Standing tall doesn't just project confidence, it creates it before any speaking engagement. Stretch your arms overhead. Roll shoulders back. Take 3 deep belly breaths. Smile, even if forced. It triggers positive neurochemicals. The water rule. Always have room temperature water nearby. Cold water constricts vocal cords. Avoid dairy, creates phlegm, and caffeine dries you out before speaking. The name game, remembering and using names builds instant rapport. For small groups, jot down names with identifying features. For large groups, use geographic references. Let's hear from our colleagues in the back. The power of you. Shift language from I to you to keep focus audience centric. Instead of, I'm going to teach you, say, you're going to discover. The pre-game routine. Top speakers don't wing their warm-ups. They develop consistent rituals. Vocal exercises, humming, tongue twisters, physical movement, dynamic stretching, mental preparation, the technology double check, assume everything will fail, have backup slides on multiple devices, printed notes as last resort, your own clicker and batteries, a plan for continuing without AV, the recovery principle. When mistakes happen, and they will, the key is recovery speed. Acknowledge, correct if necessary, then move forward without dwelling. Audiences remember how you handled the mistake more than the mistake itself. The micro-expression, mirror audiences subconsciously mimic your facial expressions. If you look bored, they'll feel bored. If you're engaged, they'll engage. Your face is the thermostat for the room's energy. The pause hierarchy, different pauses serve different purposes. Comma pause, period, for clarity. Period pause, longer for impact. The attention curve, audience attention follows predictable waves. Structure content to start strong. Place key points at attention peaks, 10-15-minute marks. Vary. Delivery every 7-10 minutes. She rule of primacy and recency. Audiences best remember what they hear first, what they hear last. Place your most important content accordingly. The energy bank account. Every presentation withdraws from audience's energy reserves. You must make deposits through clenched fists, aggressive pointing, accusation, the verbal highlighting. Use strategic repetition for emphasis. I said this was important. Let me repeat that. This is important. The water bottle trick. Place a water bottle at the back of the room as a focal point to prevent darting eyes. The name tag hack. At networking events, wear your name tag on your right side. It follows the natural sight line during handshakes. Power of because. People are more likely to comply with requests when given a reason, even if obvious. Let's take a quick break because it will help us refocus. The 20-minute reset. For long presentations, change something every 20 minutes. Your position, slide style, or activity type. The pause fillers replace with silent pauses or strategic phrases. That's an important question. Let me think about that for a second. The vocal warm-up, prep your voice with lip trills, sirens gliding from low to high pitch, tongue stretches, the power stance before going on, stand like a superhero for 2 minutes to boost confidence chemicals, the breath anchor, when nervous, focus on slow exhales to calm your system, the room walk, familiarize yourself with the space beforehand to feel ownership, the tech rehearsal test, all equipment with the same content you'll use live, the backup plan. Know how you'll present without slides if needed. The energy match, mirror the audience's energy level, then gradually lift it. The story bank, maintain a repository of go-to stories for different points. The time check, wear an analog watch to discreetly track time. The planted question, prepare colleagues to ask specific questions if Q&A is slow. The volume control, speak loudly enough that the back row could hear you without a mic. The mirror technique, rehearse facing a mirror to observe body language. The note cards, use bullet points rather than full sentences to sound natural. The power of pause. Silence is your most powerful tool. Use it strategically. The audience analysis, research who will be attending and tailor examples accordingly. The clothing test. Ensure your outfit looks good both standing and sitting. The hydration rule. Drink water consistently starting 24 hours before. The caffeine cutoff. Stop caffeine 4 hours before speaking to prevent dry mouth. The sugar avoidance. Skip sugary foods that cause energy crashes. The protein priority. Eat protein-rich meals for sustained energy. The color contrast ensure slides are readable in various lighting. The slide backup, have PDF copies as contingency. The handout timing, distribute materials at strategic moments. The Q&A prep, anticipate tough questions and prepare responses. The time buffer, arrive early to handle unexpected issues. The pace variety, alternate between faster and slower delivery. The sleep delivery, between faster and slower delivery. The volume modulation, use softer tones to draw people in. The strategic repetition, repeat key phrases for emphasis. The rhetorical question, engage listeners with thought-provoking queries. The current event, tie and connect content to recent news when possible. The local reference, include area-specific examples. The humor test, only use jokes you've tested successfully. The anecdote filter, ensures stories serve the message. The data selection, use statistics sparingly for maximum impact. The jargon elimination, replace insider terms with clear language. The gesture naturalization, practice movements until they feel unforced. The space utilization, move purposefully around the stage area. The prop practice, rehearse with any physical objects you'll use. The lighting awareness, know where shadows fall on stage. The audio check test, microphone placement and levels. The camera rehearsal practice, looking at correct spots for video. The remote familiarity, be comfortable with your clicker's functions. The battery backup, bring spare batteries for all devices. The attire comfort wear, clothes that allow easy movement. The shoe test, ensure footwear is comfortable for standing. The breath control, practice diaphragmatic breathing techniques. The articulation exercises, warm up with enunciation drills. The volume awareness check, if you're loud enough without straining. The pacing monitor, watch for nervous speed talking. The filler word reduction, identify and minimize verbal crutches. The emotional connection, recall why your message matters to you. The audience focus, concentrate on serving rather than impressing. The growth perspective view, each talk as a learning opportunity. The feedback request, ask specific questions for improvement. The self-review watch recordings to spot patterns. The skill isolation, work on one aspect at a time. The professional development, invest in ongoing speaking education. The mentor seeking, find experienced speakers for guidance. The peer observation study, both good and bad examples. The comfort expansion, gradually increase challenge levels. The authenticity preservation, stay true to your personality. The passion alignment, choose topics you genuinely care about. The preparation balance, avoid over-rehearsing naturalness away. The recovery practice plan, how to handle mistakes gracefully. The technology mastery, become proficient with presentation tools. The backup preparation, have contingency plans for everything. The health priority, maintain vocal and physical well-being. The stress management, develop pre-talk calming routines. The continuous improvement, always look for ways to enhance skills. The professional network, connect with other speakers. The industry awareness, stay updated on presentation trends. The equipment investment, own quality basic gear. The skill transfer, apply speaking techniques to conversation. The teaching mindset, focus on audience understanding. The value orientation, keep content audience centric. The time, respect start and end as scheduled. The attention, maintenance, monitor and adjust to engagement levels. The adaptability, cultivation, handle surprises with flexibility. The feedback implementation, your network is your net worth. Not just a catchy phrase, but a fundamental law of financial physics that determines the ceiling of your success more than any degree, skill, or work ethic ever could. The people surrounding you don't just influence your mindset. They dictate your opportunities, shape your decisions, and ultimately control your access to wealth. Think about it. If you're the smartest person in your circle, you're in the wrong room. If your friends complain about bills while your role models discuss investments, guess which path you'll naturally follow? Your environment doesn't just predict your income, it manufactures it. Most people approach networking all wrong. They show up to events with a stack of business cards, pitch themselves like carnival barkers, and walk away wondering why nothing changes. Real networking isn't collecting contacts, it's planting seeds in fertile soil. It's not about what you can get, but who you can become by aligning with those already living the life you want. The richest people in the world don't just have better ideas. They sit at tables where those ideas get funded, supported, and multiplied. Let's break down the unspoken rules of high-level networking. The 5-person rule. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Not just financially, but in mindset, habits, and ambition. Track your inner circle's conversations. Are they debating Netflix shows or market trends? Arguing about politics or strategizing collaborations? Your friends' problems become your problems. Their aspirations shape your own. Upgrade your circle and your life transforms by default. Access over pitch. Forget elevator pitches. Nobody cares. The magic question isn't what do you do, but what are you working on right now that excites you? This shifts the dynamic from transactional to relational. People remember how you made them feel, not your job title. The moment someone feels heard rather than sold to, doors unlock. The dinner party strategy, hosting beats attending every time. When you control the guest list, seating chart, and conversation flow, you position yourself as a connector. The person who brings value by introducing the right people. One strategic dinner with 8 carefully selected guests can alter your trajectory more than a year of random networking events. The follow-up framework. Meeting someone is worthless without intentional follow-up. The 24-48-hour rule. Within 2 days, send something personalized. An article related to their interests, an introduction to someone they should know, or a simple, enjoyed our conversation about X. No asks, no pitches, just value. This plants you in their mental Rolodex as a giver, not a taker. The skill stack, nobody owes you their network. Earn access by developing skills worth trading. Copywriting, design, social media growth, anything that solves problems. When you can offer tangible value, gatekeepers become door openers. The fastest way into any circle, become the person who makes others' lives easier. Digital body language, your online activity broadcasts your potential before you say a word. Comment thoughtfully on industry leaders' posts with insights, not flattery. Share content that positions you as a thinker, not a promoter. The right people notice consistent, intelligent engagement. It's how cold outreach turns warm. The weak tie advantage. Your next big opportunity won't come from close friends. It'll come from acquaintances who move in different circles. Nurture these relationships lightly but consistently. Birthday messages, occasional check-ins, so when they stumble across something perfect for you, you're top of mind. The favor bank deposit before you withdraw. Track people's professional and personal needs. needs. Then connect dots quietly. Introduce two people who should know each other. Send a book they'd love. Forward a job listing perfect for their cousin. These micro deposits compound into social capital you can't buy. The status mirror people subconsciously assign you the value you assign yourself. If you're constantly seeking validation, you broadcast neediness. If you're selective with your time and attention, you signal worth. How you speak about your work, just a small project versus an exciting new venture, teaches others how to treat it. The backstage pass. Every industry has back channels, private groups, invite-only forums, masterminds. Your goal isn't to beg for invites, but to become someone members recruit. How? Create public work so compelling it makes them say, "We need this person in our circle." The compound effect, one coffee meeting changes nothing. 50 over 2 years rebuilds your entire professional universe. Consistency beats intensity. Showing up regularly, adding value quietly, letting trust accumulate like interest in a high-yield account. The proximity principle. Physical adjacency accelerates connection. Can't break into tech? Move near a tech hub. Want film industry contacts? Work at a studio cafe. Opportunity flows to those physically closest to it. Geography is strategy. Alumni Advantage School ties open doors long after graduation. Mine every alma mater connection. Not for jobs, but for informational interviews. People help those who share their roots because it feels like helping a younger version of themselves. The generosity filter. When meeting someone influential, ask, "How can I be helpful to you?" instead of pitching. Their answer reveals their real needs and whether they're worth your time. Takers will demand free work. Givers will appreciate the offer and reciprocate. The Halo Transfer associate with respected organizations, nonprofits, professional groups to borrow their credibility. Serving on a board or volunteering at a conference puts you beside heavy hitters in natural, low-pressure setting, the content bridge. Creating valuable content is networking at scale. A single viral post can attract dream connections who reach out to you, reversing the dynamic. Teach what you know publicly, and the right people will find you. The pre-meeting recon. Before any important meeting, study their digital footprint. LinkedIn, podcasts, old interviews. Identify pain points they've mentioned repeatedly. Walking in prepared to discuss their needs, not yours, instantly elevates you above 95% of people they meet. The name game. Remembering names is basic. Remembering kids' names, hobbies, and past conversations is elite. Maintain a simple CRM, even a spreadsheet, tracking personal details. Dropping these naturally in conversation. How's Emma liking soccer this season? Builds instant intimacy. The master skill, content creation. How to get rich while you sleep. The most powerful wealth building tool of the 21st century isn't stocks, real estate, or even cryptocurrency. It's the ability to create valuable content that attracts attention while you're completely offline. This is the closest thing to magic in the modern economy. Assets that generate income 24/7 without your active involvement. Relationships that form with people you've never met. And opportunities that come to you instead of you chasing them. Content creation is the ultimate leverage. A single piece of work can be consumed by millions, shared endlessly, and pay dividends for years after you create it. Most people drastically underestimate the compound effect of consistent content creation. They see viral posts as lucky accidents rather than the inevitable result of strategic systems. They treat content as a hobby instead of the foundation of a personal monopoly. The truth? Every piece of content is a digital real estate property. Some will appreciate slowly, others explode in value overnight, but collectively, they form an empire that works while you sleep. Let's dissect why content creation dominates all other wealth building strategies. The attention economy shift. Money no longer flows to the most qualified, it flows to the most visible. In a world where 3.5 billion people scroll social media daily, attention has become the scarcest commodity. The ability to capture even a fraction of that attention converts directly to wealth. A doctor with 500 followers makes $200, 0 cents. Okay? A doctor with 500K followers makes $2, 0 cents M. For the same expertise, the difference, content creation skills. The compound effect of digital assets, traditional businesses require constant input to generate output. Mindset shift towards revenue stops, content works opposite. Each piece accumulates value over time. A YouTube video from 5 years ago can generate sales today. An old blog post can rank on Google indefinitely. Unlike physical goods that depreciate, digital assets appreciate through algorithms and sharing. The permissionless advantage. No gatekeepers stand between you and an audience. No credentials needed. No permission required. The playing field is utterly level. No 15-year-old with a smartphone can out-earn a Harvard MBA if they understand content mechanics. This has never existed in human history until now. The 3 content wealth levers: direct monetization, ads, sponsorships, affiliate sales, lead generation, attracting high value clients, opportunity magnet, drawing partnerships, deals, and collaborations. The content ecosystem. Successful creators don't rely on one platform. They build an interconnecting web. Long form, YouTube, blogs, podcasts, short form, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, community, Discord, Patreon, Substack. Each piece feeds the others, creating multiple touch points with your audience. The moment after consuming content is the most critical window for action, when motivation is highest and resistance is lowest. Most people make the fatal mistake of absorbing valuable information without implementing any of it, creating an illusion of progress while remaining stuck in place. They watch, they nod, they feel inspired, then close the tab and return to their normal routine. This is how knowledge becomes worthless. The gap between understanding and doing is where dreams go to die. Right now, while these ideas are fresh in your mind, while your brain is buzzing with possibilities, while your ambition is temporarily stronger than your fear, this is when you must strike. Not tomorrow when the alarm goes off, not next Monday when you get organized. Right now, in this exact moment, you have maximum leverage to change your trajectory. The uncomfortable truth is that no amount of consuming content will ever change your life. Only action creates transformation. Watching fitness videos never built muscle. Reading business books never generated revenue. Studying public speaking never won over audiences. The magic happens when you transition from passive absorption to active creation. Every minute you delay is another minute your competition gains ground. Another minute your future self remains trapped in circumstances you have the power to change today. Remember this, the person you'll be 5 years from now is being created by the decisions you make in moments like this one. Will future you look back on today as the turning point or just another false start? The difference comes down to whether you act now or fall victim to the later lie that has derailed millions of potential success stories. Later becomes never, now becomes momentum. Implementation doesn't require perfection, it demands initiation. You don't need a flawless plan to take the first obvious step. In fact, over-planning is often just resistance in disguise, a clever way to feel productive while avoiding real risk. The most successful people aren't those with the best strategies, but those who consistently execute good enough plans with relentless determination. They understand that clarity comes from engagement, not contemplation. That the path reveals itself as you walk it, not while you stare at the map. Your brain will manufacture endless reasons to delay. You need more research, better equipment, a clearer sign. These are all fear masquerading as logic. The conditions will never be perfect. The timing will never be ideal. The stars will never align. True professionals start before they feel ready because they know readiness comes from doing, not waiting. Every master was once a disaster. Every expert was once embarrassed by their early work. The only difference between their success and your potential is that they were willing to be bad before they could be good. The most valuable real estate in the world exists between your ears. And right now, prime mental property is being squandered on hesitation. Imagine taking all the energy you expend on doubting yourself and redirecting it toward creation. Imagine converting even 10% of your consumption time into production time. The compound effect would revolutionize your life within months. Yet most people never make this shift because they misunderstand motivation. It doesn't precede action, it follows it. You won't feel inspired until you start moving.